lately, I have been following some certain trends in the social media, and they are giving me serious concern about history of a lady who talks about Ashikba, who owns Eko, and I have been hearing all kinds of people talking, somehow angry, and some Yorubas are already saying that it can't belong to us. They said so many things, and some are even trying to use verbal, aggressive statements to instigate violence or whatever. I just want to push this point to everybody to understand that look, idea rules the world, but be very careful of the kind of ideology you follow. My question and answer to every question is a time will come that everything we all are saying right now, everything we thought we know, everything about history, everything about whatever you see, you hear, please don't forget this truth. Most of these things you are hearing are craftily carved by people who felt that the only way for them to manipulate the youth, to manipulate the nation, to manipulate those who want freedom is by creating an idea that will cause division. Now, I when I went to Lagos, I saw a place called Etiosa. I'm a Benin man. Etiosa in Benin meaning something very significant in Benin. Now, the British came with an ideology. They didn't put our culture into consideration. They didn't put our language into consideration. They didn't put our lifestyle. They didn't put the kind of way we were brought up into consideration. And they tried to unite a whole 350 tribes together and force them to be doing just one thing. No matter whatever it takes, it will be time. Everything would scatter. Everybody will begin to stand back on their own. Now, those who understood the lie they are lying, those who understood the truth of the whole thing, they quickly pick them and make them part of them. Listen, everybody, this life is run by a system. The government, everything is a system. But I want to let every one of you know there's something you all don't put into consideration, which is seriously paining my mind. What is that thing? All of us who are agitating, talking nonsense. I love what Fela's son was saying. I saw his video yesterday and I was so proud of what he said. Many of us who are making noise, we own Eko, we own this. Let me tell you this thing. Nobody owns anywhere. There are many histories that have been buried that we were not told. We don't even know about them. There are many truths about Nigerians that we don't even know. Where people were talking about the Great Wall of China, that was lasted for 2,000 years or whatever thing that was so, they mentioned so many things about it. Before the Great Walls of China begin to exist, Benin, Edo State, has been running a civilized life. And I will want to say this here without fear or telling anybody. Till date, who taught the Beninese how to do the bronze and what they did? All the things the so-called Britain came to steal in Benin. Who taught the Beninese how to do it? Many of us are just shouting here. Many of those who saw the so-called history that time, where are they today? In a nutshell, all of us will die one day. So who are making noise that can even die 1 week time. Some will die 2 weeks time. Some will even die 20 years time. Then those who saw today will not be telling them there was a time like this where some people were talking nonsense. Please, nobody owns anywhere. Nobody owns anywhere. Even myself who's talking to you, I am a born Benin man, but I grew up in Delta State. Even the place you are occupying right now as your personal land, you will die and leave it. It's not your own. Somebody else will also come again after 100 years time and also buy the place. That is if you have children who are normal to also keep those things and say, let me continue with what my father has labored for. We are all talking out of the way. We should think of how we can unite together and bring our country, Nigeria, to a place where we should be celebrated. Nigeria was not known to be like this. You can't take your green passport out of this country without not being looked at as a criminal. You can't take your green passport and enter somewhere outside this country. They'll be searching you as if this is a defined criminal. My dear, I grew up in a country where our naira was bigger than dollar. I grew up in a country where everything in Nigeria, there was no problem of light. For 4 months, for 5, 6 months, they've not blinked light in the place. We are not seeing the problem. We are seeing sentiment and things that will not benefit us as a problem. Our problem right now, we have been mismanaged by wrong ideology. How can you say we have rivers and only Lagos State is the only functional seaport? What happened to Delta State? What happened to River State? What about Koko? What about Gele? Mention all these places, they were all functioning. If you ask me, what about the Granite Pyramid in the north? What has happened to our North brothers who are specialized in their culture of producing food? The Benin's are also known for producing food. Now we all should open our eyes. If we fail to get it right, we will never get it again. If we fail to get it now, I tell you, we will never get it again. We should leave this area of sentiment. Don't let somebody who has made money for his children to put you under a particular, under captivity. You ask yourself, they are cooking an ideology for you that there will be war. The other day I saw some went to bomb markets that were owned by Igbo. My dear, is that what our culture teaches us? As a Nigerian, I know we love ourselves. We don't put tribe into any issue. We do what we know it is right. Nigerians are the most strongest people in the world. I traveled out of this country and I became shocked that most of the mineral resources that they give each country, one or two, all are in Nigeria. Why can't you people ask yourself? Britain came and they began to try to fix their feet in Nigeria. Nobody will tell you that the people who invaded Oba Palace, those activists they took, they said those men who did that thing, they didn't last more than 7 days, they died. The truth were hidden. There are truths about us as Nigerians that they have hidden from us. It is high time we youth should break into this particular circle and make things right. And if our generation doesn't get it right, we can never get it right. In a nutshell, let me say this to our leaders, especially the chairman of INEC. What will history remember you for? The truth is this, sir. One day you will no longer be alive. Even me, who is talking to you, one day I will not be alive. And what will people say? They say that is the man who conducted an election and it was not free and fair. I don't know how you see it. Of course, I knew you came up to own up that some of your workers, they did all what was funny. My dear, do the right thing. Is it only the INEC chairman? What about our state's governors who are busy misbehaving? One thing I love that God did for every one of us on this earth is that no human being is permitted to live long for life. A day will come, you must die. Whether you like it or not, you must go. You must leave everything that you are seeing here and you will go. What about our grandparents? Let me move to the so-called medical sector. They made us to believe with an ideology that everything from Africa is bad. Our parents use Agbo to treat themselves. Our parents have their own medical way of treating themselves, and they live longer, some 150 years, some 120 years. We didn't hear of anything like cancer. We didn't hear of any bad so-called diseases we are hearing these days. In our parents' time, human being doesn't sleep with animal. Man doesn't sleep with man. Now we are imbibing a foreign culture to fool ourselves, and we think we are going anywhere. We are going nowhere. Please. I don't know why they tamper with history. Go back to history. When you see some places being called some certain names, meaning some persons lived there before and they named those places after them, that doesn't mean they own the place. Nobody owns anywhere. Even myself was talking to you, I do not have anything. Anyhow, make a correct on our mind, make a let una know. You see this life over there, so now vibes. One day, the church go close. One day, everything no go be the way you think say be again. One day, you see that lion when he get body when the smart giddy, so his body go come lower. Then Ayana, another animal will be say they chase before, they call the chaser. Please, I want to say this here. People who are boiling on social media don't boil for no reason. You are boiling unnecessarily. Stop all this unnecessary BP and tension you are creating for yourself. Even the ones who are nagging teeth. We own Lagos, my dear. You own nothing. Nobody owns anything. Even the Benins who were one time so powerful, today go and look at Benin. All of us are here ranting on social media. My good pastor friend was just being killed last week in his farm by herdsmen. Not that he stole anything. His own farm, they killed him. A reverend Assemblies of God Church was killed. We are here talking nonsense. Meanwhile, the mineral resources in our land are being taken over by some certain people, putting themselves in charge, also making sure that children will continue. And you are there talking anyhow on social media. Before you will know that they will pass a law from the so-called National Assembly, your father's house will no longer be your own. Your land where you came from that would you be traced to will no longer be in existence. Be out there crying and shouting on tribalism. Don't go back and think of how we can protect our lands, protect our heritage, protect our origin. A time will come, some of these our languages we are speaking now will disappear because we have been having a serious ideology that is busy invading our culture, that are foreign inclined, that are alien to us. Let us go back. Let us go back to history. History is not our mate. History only comes to tell us the truth. And until we get it right, we can never get it again. And in a nutshell, I will say this. Nobody owns anywhere. You are only there temporarily. And one day you will die. And that will be the end. Thank you. God bless you.